The 5K Snipeathon is a public trading journey where I'm going to grow $5,000 of my own money to $10,000 trading currency in the foreign exchange market. This is a completely public and transparent trading journey where I give daily and weekly updates of the progress. If you want to follow and stay up to date on this trading journey, make sure you hit like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, and look in the comments to join the Snipers Anonymous broadcast where I update the chat daily on the progress of the account. All praises to the Most High. Welcome, 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 family, to the Snipeathon weekly update. This is week 26. And without further ado, let's get into our action or activity last week. So, last week, we had a starting balance of $5,007.53, and we ended the week with $5,037.54. Took a total of 4 trades, won 3, lost 1, had a 75% win rate. There are currently no trades running, so no open profit or loss. And the net profit so far has been $37.54. Net profit percentage is 0.75%. The notes for this week the notes for this week is foot on the gas, and this week's focus is pull the trigger. So I'm looking to get a little more aggressive this week with the account. Since we've gotten back over 5,000, I really want to keep this momentum up. And the way the equity curve is looking for the Snipeathon account, it's looking like it's due. We're due for an uptrend. So this week, I'm really looking forward to being more aggressive, being more active in the charts, especially since we really don't have a lot going on as far as news goes, which is what we'll get into next. So let's go ahead and get into the news for this week. Right. So like I said, not a lot going on this week as far as news goes. I mean, we do have some red folders, but they're not really like significant red folders in my eyes. The only thing that I see that is something to pay attention to are the continuing jobless claims for the United States dollar, and that's going to be on Thursday at 8:30 in the morning. Other than that, I mean, I will take all of this other news into consideration based on timing. Let me see, Tuesday. So for the New York session tomorrow, we have something, but like I said, I don't think that's going to affect the market a lot. 8:30 on Wednesday. Yeah, but other than that, I don't really see anything significant outside of continuing jobless claims and initial jobless claims for the United States dollar, even for euro and GBP. I'm not saying that it can't cause some volatility, but what I'm saying is it's not anything that I'm worried about, and it's not something that I take into consideration as much as non-farm payroll and interest rates. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the charts. First thing we're going to analyze and just check on is the United States dollar. And just following the markup that we've had, keeping us on track. The dollar is currently in a downtrend within an uptrend. And so this could possibly be a pullback. Going to keep that in mind this week. And for good measure, let's just see how much this has extended beyond and how much it's pulled back using the fib. So we had an extension beyond the last high to about a little over 127%. And the current pullback that's happening is currently resting right above the 618. So We've come down to the 50%, played around in the area and sitting right above the 618. And we've created some liquidity here, some equal lows, which are definitely targets. Now, I don't know when they're going to come for the equal lows, but they're definitely targets. And if we move closer down to that area, I would be expecting price to dip below those lows if it's going to continue up. But something else that we got to take into consideration is the channel that is following. Remember, we talked about this channel that it broke out of and dropped right back down into, and we are currently still following the pattern of this channel in a downtrend. And we're currently coming from close to the top of the channel. And so it's really in a place right now where it could go down and it could go up. And so I'm really waiting. I'm waiting for the dollar to show me something. If it does come up tonight, I would expect some type of reaction from this area, which is going to be at the top of this channel. Right, but yeah, price is just current. It's in an area where I really don't know if it's going up or down, and so I don't see anything clear as far as a direction right now. I need to see price develop a little bit more. May have to wait until tonight to see what it does. But if it does come up tonight, I would expect it to reject from this from the top of this channel. And then I will be targeting at least this blue zone down here, which is a previous imbalance. Meaning, if it is to shoot up tonight, I should be expecting EU to be heading down. Although EU is looking like it's setting up for a buy. Now, this is what happened last week. Check. Yeah, so this is the result here. This long candle that you see here. This is the result of non-farm payroll last Friday. We were in a sale and price jumped up, knocked us out at break even, and then it started to sell off. So I'm still suspecting a sell, even though it's kind of like it's looking like it's starting to gear up for a buy. But I'm expecting it to sell off. And even though this says reaction buy zone down here, that's just something I have marked up. But that's not an entry that I'm planning to take. In order for me to buy EU, especially after this last move that happened, which took out these equal highs, this could very well just be a sweep, and we could be continuing down. I want to see price break below this zone that I have right here. And I'm going to take this out. I want to see price break below this zone. If I can see price come down and hover under this zone and, take out this low, then I will actually use this zone as a retest. So that's for future reference. If we get a break below this zone right here, I would be expecting a sell on the retest of this zone. And I would be looking to take profit around where the sell break is at, where the sell break or this mitigation zone. We come down to this zone, that's where I would hop out and just wait again to see what EU wants to do, because it's really in a tricky place for me right now. I don't see a clear direction, just like the dollar. It could go up, it could go down. And so I really can't call anything tonight. Unfortunately, I have to wait for price to kind of play out and show me some more in order for me to confidently take a trade. But if we can get a break below this zone, I would like to sell from here. And then as far as a buy, if we happen to come back up above these highs right here and kind of like stay in the area and hang out, And if it just happens to be around the New York session, um, then I would look to buy beyond this high. I would expect a continuation up. Yep, I would expect a continuation up and possibly retest this high here. To possibly retest this high here. And I believe all that would be, if we continued up on EU, is the channel, right? We would be heading towards the bottom of the channel on the dollar. And so that's my logic for EU right now, based on what's going on with the dollar and what's going on with EU. I really can't tell if it's going to continue up or break down. And so that's something that I'm going to have to wait on. Let's see. Let's check out Euro GBP to see what the strength is. All right, we created some consolidation. We've broken out of that consolidation. And so Euro looks like it's going to get weaker. Yeah, it looks like it's going to get weaker throughout the night and possibly into tomorrow morning, because we've broken out of this consolidation zone. We came and kind of filled a little imbalance, and now price is starting to break back down, which is signaling weakness for the euro. So if we can get some bullishness on the dollar with Euro GBP heading down, I believe that's strong sell signals for EU. All right, let's check out GJ. Yesterday, Sunday, when the market opened, we were looking at GJ, and it was currently like buying. I was looking at it when it was right here, and when it started taking off, I was like, yeah, this is starting to buy. Now, I would have liked for it to pull back into this buy zone, but it never did. But we did get a pull back here, and it happened to pull back to a previous high. And I mean, it just never looked back. Never looked back. But it is currently, let's see, had a high, lower high. We have divergence on the 15-minute on the RSI. So we have lower highs happening on the RSI, while at the same time we have higher highs happening on the chart. And so that's indicating weakness, and more than likely this is going to present sell opportunities tonight. The area that I would be careful of for a reaction would be here. And I'm not sure if this is, let me see. Man, that's strong. Especially, keep in mind, we just looked at Euro GBP, and we see Euro is getting weaker against the pound. And if we have the dollar, if we have the dollar going down, and we have the Euro weakening also against the pound, if we see the dollar going down, then this is signaling for strong buys for really all pound pairs. But currently right now, I think this is a pullback, and I actually think this is a sell opportunity that's happening, even if it's just a quick sell opportunity. Let's see. So it's not a bad ratio. 30 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. We can even lower the take profit to, or the stop loss here, 20 pips. Because if it's going to sell, I wouldn't want to see it come back above this high. So yeah, so my current analysis for the pound is I think it's gonna sell off right now, going into the London and possibly throughout the London to continue buying though. Like I said, I think this is a buy zone here. And then if this buy zone fails, then more than likely they'll be coming for this low here. And the next buy zone here. All right, and let's look at the fib to see how far it's extended. A little beyond 200%. So that's a very strong extension. And it's pretty much, it's exhausted right now. This is why I think it's a good opportunity to sell. And then for the pullback, this buy zone is kind of high on the fib. So like I said, yeah, with GJ, I would expect it to go a little bit lower than this buy zone. It's possible it could react from here, but I would rather see it take out a low and come down closer to the 50%, which is here, which is right around this buy zone. Got the 38% right below the low, and then the 50%. This is now a mitigation zone. And if price breaks back above that mitigation zone, just looking ahead, looking at the current trend and strength in the pound versus the Japan yen, if it breaks back above this purple zone here, then I would expect it to come for this high here. And continue up. Okay. Let's look at some of our economic indicators. What's going on with U.S. oil? All right, prices back up in the zone, starting to create that. I'm going to leave this here for future reference because, like I said before, this is what I see it doing. Yeah, I think U.S. oil is going to continue creeping up in price throughout the week. So no new news here outside of really no new news, just expecting oil to continue increasing in price. Right. So we talked about SPX 500. We've gone over this a few times, and we said that the next stop would be here, which is where the lines are, around 7,724. And that's exactly where price is at. That's exactly where it shot up to. I'm pretty sure that lines up with the fib, which is why the lines are there, right? So it's right at the 127. And next stop is the 1618. So it looks like the American stock market is still creeping up. Got gold, same thing. Told you guys I didn't really see it going back below where it was at. Just like I had oil marked up, expecting gold to start rallying and finally start behaving like the world is about to end. So this is a very strong move up. Of course, I expect a pullback, but I do not see gold coming back below this low. I don't. I think this is the beginning of a continuation. And it's currently in a mitigation zone where it should sell off from a little bit and offer a pullback, you know, to get in where I expect gold to come down to within this range that it's in right now. Just because we had some imbalance and some market open gaps, I'm just gonna I like this zone here. I like this zone right here for it to come back for a pullback. Let's drop to the lower time frames and see what's going on. Kind of already played off of it, but wouldn't be surprised if it came down and retested it again. Yeah. Liquidity. Buy zone. So this is a little more accurate. This is a little more precise on like where I'm aiming. But even just within this blue zone, even if it comes within this blue zone, somebody's a swing trader and you can withstand the drawdown. This is where I see it buying from if it pulls back. All right, and just because I believe this is starting to do a continuation, let's see where it would continue to. Where would the first stop be? Go from the high to the low. First stop at the 127 would be around $6,027. And then the 618, we got 6,500 pretty much, or 6,600. And then 7,200. So those are the three stops that I see. Just like looking at S&P 500. Right. I'm curious. To everybody that's tuning in right now, what do you believe is going on with gold? What do you think is going to happen with gold? Do you think that is continuing from where it's at based off of your own analysis, or do you think it's going to go a little lower? Do you think price needs to break back down below this low before it continues up? What do y'all see? What's your opinion on gold? I really would like to get y'all thoughts on, your own personal analysis. See what's going on with the bonds. And last but not least, cryptocurrency. So as expected, Ripple is continuing down, getting cheaper and cheaper. Very close, about 6 cents away from where I would actually, consider buying up some more. So in between 95 cents and 83 cents is where I will start to buy Ripple again. And we are very close. Let me turn this into an alarm. Right. So I got Bitcoin still hanging out below that zone. Waiting for Bitcoin to get down to 45,000, between 45 and 31,000. I would actually buy some Bitcoin too. Even though it's a little higher, it's a little more expensive. It's more stable. It's almost like XRP is almost like a penny stock, and then Bitcoin is like a Fortune 500, Fortune 500 company, more stable. Even though it's more expensive, it's a little more stable. So I would actually grab some more Bitcoin. I would grab Bitcoin again. So once it gets down to 45,000, if it comes down there, that's where I'll start buying cryptocurrency again. It's been a couple of years since I bought cryptocurrency. Price is finally starting to get down into an area that's acceptable for me. And that also goes to show the condition of the world, or what's going on. Usually when cryptocurrency sells off, is because it's getting in position for people to be able to buy it and buy it up. And that's usually around the time a lot of, just uncertainty is happening in the world. The last rally of Bitcoin, if we look at the history, was around COVID-19. And then we had another rally in between 2023 all the way up to 2025. And now we're going through this pullback cycle again. So let's see. So what does everybody think about gold? Kevin said, I don't trade gold, but I can see a current uptrend from what's on the charts. Okay, that's good. It's also what I see. Darius Thompson said, I think it retracts or retraces. I think you meant to say retrace or retracts. I think it retracts a bit more and shoots back up. Okay, Darius. So you see it going back. You see it going back below that low that I was talking about. So you see it coming back below 3,944. You see it coming down and clearing this low. And since we're on the topic, if you don't trade gold, well, what about how do you feel about cryptocurrency? How do you feel about what's going on with Bitcoin? And let's just go with the main one, Bitcoin. Based on what you see, we'll pull this up. Based on what you see, what do you think Bitcoin is? How far down do you think Bitcoin is going to go? And do you think it's ever going to reach back above 124,000, 125,000? Will it ever make it back above that? And at what point would you start buying Bitcoin? Go. Is it anything else? Is there anything else that you guys want me to look at while I have the charts up? Anything that I haven't been going over? check back on the pound versus the yen. See if it started selling off yet. Price still. Hypothetical trade being drawdown right now. All right, I said, I like that area to the left where it's sitting now to drop and then shoot back up to the 65, 75K area. Let's see. Okay, so the area to the left where it's sitting at now to drop and then shoot back up to 65. So basically shoot back up to where it's at now, back up into this area. So you think you think Bitcoin is gonna create, it would be crazy if this was a head, if this was a left shoulder and this was a head. It's very possible. Very possible we could get something like that. Shoot back up there. Just because I see that pattern. When price does come down here and I buy, I'll be taking a lot of profits back up at the around 60,000 because I do believe it's going to struggle. If it does drop down and come back up, I believe it's going to struggle in this area just because of how it struggled here, and it's currently playing around in this area, and it's just look like a head and shoulders situation to me. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. Well, family, if there's nothing else that you would like me to look at, that will wrap it up for this week's Snipeathon weekly update. Like I said before, just to review and go over. Not really worried about news this week. We did have something on. Let me just double check for the U.S. dollar. We did have something on jobless claims on Thursday. So that's the only day that I'll really, during the New York, that I'll, be kind of like really on the lookout. But other than that, I'll just be waiting on price to develop. I'll be trading as usual and really looking for opportunities. Like I said, I'm really looking to get aggressive this week. So hopefully the market prints out some patterns that I recognize. Either way, I'm going to keep the chat updated as far as the sniper broadcast. Those of you that are on the third floor, I will try to get those trades to you before I take them, depending on what time of the day it happens. But other than that, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I hope that y'all have a great trading week this week, and I will see y'all in the charts and in the chats. Remember that becoming a master trader isn't about mastering the markets as much as it is about mastering yourself and discipline before profits and faith over everything. Love y'all. Have a good night. Peace.